Happy Thanksgiving to all who celebrate.
Ha ha ha! Alison Roman, admired for her spontaneity and sought after for her imaginative presentations wherever people gather to entertain and have a good time.
Sandra Bullock!
Heck yes! In the next hour, Alison will put together a festive Thanksgiving. Look at her shaking her thing. Filled with an abundance of creative ideas for everyone who like to surround themselves with funky family and friendly friends. Welcome to Home Movies Thanksgiving Special.
Thanksgiving, take one. Mark?
It's a big day. It's Turkey Day. I've done Thanksgiving menus every which way possible. I've done all the classics. I've done the new spinny spins. I've done 30-minute. I've done easiest ever, creamiest ever, crispiest ever, whatever. You get the point. But for me, this menu is truly the most delicious and best representation of the meal. I wanted my perfect Thanksgiving meal, and that has crunchy salads and 2 pans of stuffing and lumpy mashed potatoes and a delicious apple tart. Everything sort of revolves around the turkey, even though it's notoriously everybody's least favorite thing. So I feel like you really have to go hard on the salads and the sides to compensate for the fact that everybody's eating turkey, which is womp womp. So day one is a prep day, it's a meditative day. I'm just making sure I have my keys. And I do. Okay. Let's go. So I was supposed to hold the door open for you. You wanna make sure you pick up your turkey because that needs to be seasoned at least a day in advance. And you wanna make sure you pick up your bread because that needs to be torn so that it can dry out overnight. Isn't it sad that I'm always alone? I feel like
We're creating this world where you
where I live alone, except for when all my friends come and eat my food and make fun of me. I'm here to pick up my turkey that has been defrosted, and our sandwiches and our turkey wings.
Okay.
Thank you. So we're gonna go in, I'm gonna get a loaf of bread. It's sort of don't cook with any wine you wouldn't drink. I wouldn't make a stuffing with any bread I wouldn't eat. I got the bread, we're gonna walk back home. I have to pee, and then we are going to hydrate some more, and then make a mental and emotional game plan for the next 48 hours. 36 hours, really. Oh, thank you so much. Thank you, we're making one right now.
Awesome.
Yeah, Thanksgiving. An important part of prep day is cleaning out your fridge. We have orange marmalade that I've made, jam that I've made, sauerkraut that I've made, 1 tablespoon of shallot pasta paste, that can go. Fermented cabbage from a hot dog party. You know, it's a fine line between spoiling and fermenting, and I like to think that anything can be fermented if you try hard enough. Anything that I feel won't last at room temp is going back in the fridge. But even eggs can come out. So just kind of making way for all of the things that are about to bombard your refrigerator, including this massive bird that's about to sit in there overnight. The first thing I'm gonna do is roast the turkey wings so that I can make my stock. Turkey stock is one of the only stocks that I will go to the effort of roasting the bones first. And I'm not using bones, I'm using wings, and we're not going for a delicate turkey soup here. We want intense turkey roasted flavor. Wings have a really nice ratio of cartilage to skin and fat. It's not a ton of meat, but that's okay because we're not here for the meat. We're here for the cartilage, the fat, the flavor. And that I can already see on the screen. The cartilage, the fat, the flavor. I'm gonna pop these into a 450 oven. I'm gonna rotate them in about 20 minutes, but these are gonna go in there for almost 45 minutes at 450. David, how much do you think a turkey costs?
I don't know.
Dan, how much do you think a turkey costs?
How many pounds is that?
16 pounds.
Doesn't feel good, does it, Dan?
Nope.
Wait, $35 total?
Keep it interesting.
Really no guesses, David?
I really have no idea, but I'm glad Dan said 35.
$35 for a turkey. This turkey, almost weighing 16.36 pounds, cost $114.36. We're gonna flip the turkey wings now. So see how nicely darkened they've gotten? And this is about halfway through cooking. If you've roasted a chicken or a turkey, you know what a golden brown skin looks like, and you're just looking for the same thing here. I know 450 seems like really high heat, but like I said, there's so much skin and bone. These wings are massive. It's gonna take them a really long time to get brown. So, I would say keep roasting them. Always be roasting. Cool. We're gonna make our turkey stock right now. I'm going to take this pot, which you'll see again because we're gonna use it to make our potatoes. I'm gonna heat up a little bit of oil and I'm gonna sear the liver and the neck and just get them kind of golden brown on each side. You don't have to make your own stock. This is not something that is required of anybody. I just like to. It's like something that feels like part of the Thanksgiving ritual to me. So my turkey stock has turkey wings, it has turkey giblets in it, and any sort of vegetable that you already have for your Thanksgiving meal. So onions, celery, carrots if you've got them. Gorgeous. These look so good. I was so repulsed by them, and now I'm like a true glow up. I'm gonna add water to this pot. I bet I'll add 10 cups. You guys want any guesses? I don't know. I like when people guess.
35.
Hell yeah, to the top. So I am just scraping up the bits using a wooden spoon. If I had my fish spatula, I'd be using that, but it's in the car. And I just remembered that. Why is it in the car? We don't know. Because you don't want to travel without your fish spatula. Missing fish spatula. If you've seen it, please call the number below. Okay, we are going to season the turkey, finally. The moment has come. Equal parts brown sugar and kosher salt. This is a 16-pound bird. This is definitely on the larger side. If you had something closer to a 12-pound bird, I would recommend going like a third of a cup, but I'm gonna do a half a cup. I like my turkey very peppery, and part of that is making sure that your pepper is like pretty coarsely ground. And I'm estimating what 3 tablespoons of cracked pepper looks like because I'm not gonna measure it. Buckle up, get cozy with that pepper mill, and get grinding. The salt is there for seasoning, but so is the brown sugar. It's not to make the turkey sweet. I don't like sweet foods, you know this. I would never give you a sweet turkey. This is not like a lacquered bird. It's simply there to balance out the saltiness and the savoriness. And it's going to give you like a gorgeous, gorgeous, beautiful skin. It's not like when we roast this turkey, we are going to be eating a half a cup of salt and a half a cup of sugar. A lot of that is gonna run off and we're not gonna use it. So you want to use about half of the brine on this underside. And just like a thin layer. It'll start to dissolve almost immediately. I like doing this so much. To me, like rubbing a little seasoning on a protein like this is like it's kind of like romantic. I hate to use that word. You're taking a lot of time and tender care with something. Like I'm a pretty hasty cook, but like right now I'm like holding each wing in the palm of my hand. I don't know, it feels like a tender moment. Don't forget the butt. Grow up, David. It's honestly like decorating a cake with sprinkles, where you wanna like put the seasoning in your hand and like go like that. Almost like if you've ever built a sandcastle. Step aside, Leeks. There's our turkey. You wanna come up? You wanna be on the camera? How does Margot make pie crust? For the dessert, I was really like racking my brain on how I was gonna approach it and like gave it a lot of thought of like, what do I want this Thanksgiving? Like what is to me the best version of Thanksgiving dessert? We already know that pumpkin pie is out. It was never on the table, literally or figuratively. It's not for me, so that's out. And then I was thinking about apples, and then I did like I was like, okay, I'll do like a cool tart with like a shortbread crust and like a crumble tart, whatever. I went through the motions, I did the testing, I made the thing, I ate the thing. It was good, it was fine. And at the end of the day, all I wanted was a really gorgeous and extremely simple like apple tart. All right, friends. Pie crust. In this bowl, 2.5 cups of all-purpose flour, 1 teaspoon of kosher salt, 2 teaspoons of sugar, and to that I'm gonna add 2.5 sticks of unsalted butter. And now comes the fun part where we mix with our hands. Basically, we are smushing the butter into the flour, and this is gonna do the thing that makes the dough flaky. And this is as much as I'm gonna mix it right now. I've got a 1/4 cup of that ice water in here, and then I'm gonna do a tablespoon of vinegar, and I'm gonna drizzle this over the top. I kind of like to start with half of it and shake the bowl. And this does a lot of the heavy lifting for you before you have to use your hands. I'm gonna dump this whole thing out onto the counter. I'm gonna cut it in half and actually put it right on top, press it. This is effectively kneading it. I think that at the end of the day, like a small, like beautiful, crispy, tart, tender piece of apple with like a flaky crust is all A, you have room for, and B, all you really need. So for me, it's gotta be like a beautiful, simple apple tart. Good night. Two little princes going to sleep. Okay, now we're gonna tear our bread and then we'll probably strain the stock and that's it. I am making 2 pans of stuffing. These are the same types of stuffing. There's no variation on the stuffing. One doesn't have meat, there's no smoked oysters, there's no secret vegetable. 2 regular ass stuffings. They're perfect. It's the best thing on the table. It's the thing that everybody wants seconds of and the thing you want to eat the next day. So that's why I'm making 2. This is a campagna loaf, which is a sourdough crusty bread. I'm gonna cut this in half because I need an entry point into this loaf. I go a little bigger than bite size, and if it's too small, then it becomes like a bowl of mush. So, you know, I don't wanna freak anyone out, but don't mess this part up. I'm just kidding. Think of it as like delicious croutons soaked in like turkey stock and butter and celery and onion. We don't want wet bread. We want like custardy croutons. Wet bread, custardy crouton. You know what I mean? Anyone can do this, even David. Some of these are a bit big.
I was trying to do it where
That's
you
okay.
get bread and crust.
I know, which I really appreciate. It's very thoughtful.
But it wasn't happening for me.
As you can tell, it took a lot of brute strength, determination, focus, but when all was said and done, we ended up with 2 gorgeously, perfectly filled sheet pans of torn bread that's gonna dry out overnight, and we are gonna make stuffing with it in the morning. So our turkey stock has been going for about 3 hours. Look how nice and like deeply golden it is. I haven't really done anything to it. I haven't skimmed it, I haven't like tended to it. It's just been quietly simmering away back here while I did everything else. I'm gonna eat this turkey meat, by the way. So that's a real chef's treat. So I'm gonna fish out the wings, which are extremely tender and fall apart. I'm also gonna grab that neck. Oh my gosh, there's one more wing in there. I got distracted by the turkey neck. Low-key, my favorite part of the turkey stock is actually the celery that braises in there. It's like kind of flavorless, but soft and tender, and I will probably eat a lot of that celery from that pot. So to recap, we've cleaned the fridge, mostly. We've seasoned the turkey. We've torn the bread. We've made the turkey stock. We have made the tart crust. We have hydrated. We're gonna get a good night's sleep. We are not gonna scroll endlessly on our phones before we go to bed because we need to be alert and focused for tomorrow.
It's like before a marathon.
I've never ran a marathon. I don't know if you can tell. But whatever sport analogy you need to get through this video, this is the day before the marathon. Welcome back. It is day 2. It is the next day. It is Thanksgiving Day. And I am going to start my day with you here. The first thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna turn my oven on, I'm gonna preheat it, and I'm going to roll out the pie crust, I'm gonna fill it with apples, and I'm going to bake this apple tart. So it's sort of like the last thing you eat is the first thing you make on this very special day. I have not committed to galette or tart as the name for this, so just assume that I mean one if I end up calling it the other. So I'm gonna weigh out about 4 pounds of apples. Again, I kind of just bought a bunch because they're in season now. Big apple, small apple, whatever. Big apple. We live there. I'm going to melt 1 stick of butter. We're gonna melt that and then we're gonna brown it. And then I'm gonna mix together a 1/2 cup of light brown sugar. I don't really use cinnamon when I bake that often, but because this apple tart is so simple, there is something really nice about a little bit of cinnamon there. And when I eat it, it's very cinnamon toast crunchy to me. You hear that butter? Isn't that sweet? So notice how it gets quieter as it browns. I'm putting this in here so I can use the sheet pan. I'm not made of sheet pans, but I am made of bowls. I have a lot of sheet pans. I realize that's not the case for everybody. So I wanted to be cognizant of the amount of sheet pans I was using. And I think I kept the total number down to 2, or was it 3?
3.
And now, a public service announcement from Alison Rowland, the sheet pan.
I love sheet pans. I own at least like 6 because I find them to be an invaluable kitchen tool that you will find endless uses for. I use them for storage and for cooking and for blah, blah, blah. They are an affordable kitchen tool. They stack neatly on top of each other, not nonstick, just like a little stainless steel baking sheet. If you have one, you may as well have 5. Point being, my wish for you is to own at least 2 sheet pans. All right, so I'm lighting these with parchment paper before I do anything else. You can see all I did was wrap this in plastic. There's no dry spots, no bits of flour. This is like a beautiful, smooth, and pliable pie crust. I'm gonna roll this out into like a pretty thin disc. I like to flip mine back and forth. I think that prevents sticking. But also, if you have any cracks and holes like that, you can literally just patch them back up together. I think most people tend to put a lot of emphasis on the center of the crust and they roll from the middle, which means the ends and the edges tend to be thicker than they ought to be. That's why these pins are actually shaped this way, so you can kind of apply even pressure throughout. For the apples, we're not gonna really do much to them other than cut them because everything's gonna happen after the fact. I love an Arkansas Black, I love a Macoun. This is a good one.
Wow.
The assembly part is very easy and should not give you like any stress at all. It's kind of like you can tuck things in like an edible arrangement. You want like a pretty even layer, I would say, is like my piece of advice, but don't overthink it, you know? And I've left about 1 inch to 2 inches, depending, of border, just to make sure that I can have crust to fold it up. Unfortunately for me, I can't find my pastry brush. If anyone sees it, let me know. But I am gonna just spoon the butter and sprinkle the sugar over, and then I'll use my hands for the egg wash. In all of its lopsided, sort of uneven glory, we celebrate the apple galette. This is kind of gross, I will admit. I am sorry, I do not have a brush. Your fingers are the best tool if you don't have one, so.
Nature's brush.
Yeah, that's what they call your fingers, nature's brush. And I'm gonna sprinkle these with sugar and a little bit of flaky salt. This one's like not as pretty as this one. There's always one. Anyway, into the oven. We're gonna make some stuffing. So stuffing is one of those things that I am very particular about. So for me, it's gotta be a lot of celery, tons of garlic and onions, some white wine, some herbs, stock, eggs, and just a ridiculous amount of butter. It is my greatest joy to put out one pan of stuffing and then have it disappear and people be like, and then I'll be like, there's more. And they're like, yay. And then not only do they get to have more stuffing tonight, but they get to take some home because it's really nice wrapped up in foil, or you can put it in one of your resealable containers. And then the next day people wake up, they're probably hungover, they eat a little stuffing. Chef's kiss. You can bake stuffing in anything you want. If you have a 9x13 Pyrex glass baking dish, that's great. Classic stuffing vehicle. I've even made stuffing in a loaf pan. If you had a cast iron, a pie plate, TBD sized baking dish, you can make stuffing in anything. And that is as close as you'll ever get to a kitchen tour. I am today using regular onions, garlic, and celery. You can cut this any way you like. I'm gonna do just like thinly sliced. And I will be peeling this onion, thanks for asking. This is sort of the most time-consuming dish that requires the most knife work. This is also the kind of thing, if you're like, can I use a garlic press for this? Sure, go off, do it. Use a garlic press, see if I care. If there's an opportunity to use celery, I'm going to take that opportunity and I'm going to exploit it. I am going to use so much celery, it will be unmistakably in whatever it is that I'm using. It's not, to me, like a flavor that should be quiet. It should be loud. I just don't want people to think of it as like a throwaway vegetable that should only be used as like background flavor in chicken broth. Wow, a perfect 4 cups.
Oh my God, is today your day?
It's my day! Everything's coming out Roman. I'm going to melt 1 stick of butter, and then to that I'm going to add a ½ cup of olive oil. And I'm gonna saute it until it's like nice and tender, softened. I'm not looking for any color or caramelization or browning. It's just to get everything like soft and evaporate some of the liquid inside of it. I'm gonna go get some thyme and oregano from the garden. Welcome to my humble garden. I have thyme, and what was sold to me as oregano and marjoram, it's the same plant. They're both oregano. I'm gonna actually use a lot of this today, so that's good. That makes me feel like I'm really living that urban garden life. Siren in the background, clipping fresh herbs, living the dream. We interrupt this program to take out the galettes. Ooh. Stunning, gorgeous. So see how they're deeply browned? There's some caramelization on the outside and that's okay. But there's like bubbling here and that's from the apples. This to me is perfect. I'm thrilled to get to eat this. Now where am I gonna put it? I'm gonna put one on that chair. Back to herbs. Truly nothing compares to a fresh herb. Put that on my tombstone. So see how everything is very soft and tender? but not mushy. I'm gonna go a cup. I'm using just like a regular ass Sauvignon Blanc. When people add like 2 tablespoons of wine, I'm like, what's that doing? But that's why I do like a lot of wine, because I'm evaporating the liquid where the acidity stays. Can you believe in a few short hours we'll be eating Thanksgiving? I know I can't. I think it's also because last year, like, I kind of took it off. I mean, a lot of us took it off. Most of us took it off. All right, so see how it's definitely reduced by about half. Maybe even a little bit more. So that's good. We want some of that liquid. And you can always taste it. And if you're like, oh, that still tastes like wine, then keep cooking it. The last thing we're gonna need to do is make like the liquid part or the binding agent of the stuffing. You can make stuffing without eggs, but to me the eggs really make the whole thing cohesive rather than just like, again, soaked seasoned pieces of bread. So I'm gonna take that turkey stock from yesterday. We'll need about 2.5 cups. So I'm gonna just crack 3 eggs into this bowl. And I'm just whisking it until it's very well blended. All right, cool. So this is well blended. We're gonna add our herbs. We are going to add our bread to this mixture, and I'm gonna toss it repeatedly to make sure that all the bread is gonna get evenly soaked. I think we're good, actually. I think we're fully absorbed. So I'm gonna add the celery, the onion, the butter, the olive oil, the wine into this mixture. And again, this is providing like a bulk of your flavor, but also a lot of moisture. I do feel like the guy in Jaws that's like, we're gonna need a bigger boat. Like, we're gonna need a bigger bowl. And there are raw eggs in here, so I can't legally advise you sampling this, but occasionally I might put it all on the line for you. Okay, so here's my favorite part of making stuffing. I like to sort of like arrange the top. It's almost like when you're decorating a pie. Arranging the top for how you want it to look when it comes out of the oven, when you present it, when it's on the table. There is like an art to this, you know, no hard edges, only fluffy, torn, craggly parts. And see how it's like just coming up over the baking dish? That's exactly what we want. To me, this looks really beautiful, and like I cannot wait to eat this. And again, we're not pressing down, so be gentle. Like, kind of leave some room between the stuffing and the foil. And this is gonna go in a 375 oven for about 40 minutes. And then I'll take it out of the oven to free it up so I can put the turkey and stuff in, and I'm just gonna set it aside. And then when the turkey comes out of the oven, I'll take the foil off and I'll crisp it at a 425 oven. So 1 stuffing, 2 bakes. It's also time to take the turkey out. I take my turkey out about 3 hours before I know that I wanna put it in the oven, and this is just to take the chill off, which will give you a more evenly cooked turkey. This is just a very large bird, and so there's gonna be more liquid than a chicken. So try not to be freaked out. Understand that it's part of the process. Drain the liquid and move on with your life. There's a million ways to roast a turkey. You can roast it hot and then reduce the temperature. You can roast it very low and slow for a very long time. I like somewhere between the 2 methods, so I go 325, which is not exactly super hot, but it's also not so slow that it's gonna take me 6 hours because I don't have that kind of time. Roasting this turkey on a sheet pan frees me up to like do a lot of stuff scattered around it. If you have onions, great. If you have leeks, awesome. If you have shallots, even better, because that's what I'm gonna use. Also, is this 1 shallot or is this 1 shallot? I think this is 1 shallot. You could throw in an onion if you want. I guess I have one, why not? Let's do it, let's go. I'm highly caffeinated. That's crazy. Sometimes I'll take a head of garlic, slice it crosswise, just put it in the center, and that's what your turkey will rest on. I'm gonna take this onion and shallot, stuff it inside. It's just creating like a steamy environment, so it's not just like roasting in the void. What I will do is drizzle everything on the sheet tray with olive oil and then maybe give a little salt to the shallots, but that's it. Honestly, if you can roast a chicken, you can roast a turkey, and that's it. It's not more complicated than that. Big turkey has you out there believing that it's something to stress over, but it's just a big chicken. I'm really tempted to truss the legs this year. Trussing is a fancy word for tying. To me, the biggest benefit of trussing is that you expose the skin on the thigh, which gives you a better chance of browning. I stand by my statement that I'm not gonna tuck the wings because I like how crispy these get, and when you tuck them, they sort of just steam behind the breast and you don't get that experience. So I'm gonna tie a little string, a little bracelet around his leg, and then I'm crossing it over the other leg. And that's it. These wings are truly akimbo. Great use of the word. Very rare that there's an exact right moment to use it. I'm gonna wash my hands and then we're gonna see it in like an hour and a half. We'll start to baste it and it fits. So we'll see you in a bit. So our stuffing is coming out of the oven. It's been in for about 45 minutes. Am I gonna try it right now? Absolutely. It is so good. This is my favorite food of all time. So far, we've done what I think are like 3 of the most important parts of Thanksgiving. We've done our dessert, it's baked, it's out of the oven. We've done our stuffing, it's baked, it's out of the oven. The turkey is in the oven. So like, let's say everything from this moment forward just goes completely off the rails. I will say that I am pretty pumped for this dinner. Just saying, be proud of yourself up until this moment. And like, don't stress that other things haven't gotten done because you've already done so much.
Nice to talk to yourself.
Me to me. I feel like I should be more flustered for like cinematic appeal, but like I'm just not. I'm not worried. Okay, we're gonna make mashed potatoes. For mashed potatoes, I find it really nice to use a mix of a creamy, waxy potato, like a Yukon Gold, and a floury sort of baking potato, like a russet. And this sort of gives you like a fluffy, starchy texture, and this gives you like a rich, creamy texture. And I think married together makes the perfect mashed potato. Another kind of fussy thing that I rarely do, peeling a potato. If you are a person who grew up with like mashed potato with the skins on, and that is something that brings you comfort and joy, you should definitely feel free to leave the skin on. But for me, it kind of messes with the texture. You want every piece of potato that goes into this pot to be the same size. If you dice up a potato tiny, sure, it'll cook a lot faster, but that potato will also be full of water. So pieces like that. Idahos and Yukon Golds living in harmony inside this pot. You're cooking your potatoes in water that should be as salty as the water you cook your pasta in. This is the same principle in that it's your first and best opportunity to season the potatoes from the start. Those potatoes will probably take 40 to 45 minutes to fully cook. So this mixture, we're just gonna heat up gently and let it simmer on very, very low while the potatoes boil. Okay, so in this pot, I'm gonna go ahead and add 1.5 cups of heavy cream and then 1 cup of buttermilk. If you are using whole milk instead, that's fine. Keep the proportions the same. Lots of pepper. I think pepper and potato is like a beautiful and very underrated combination. This garlic smashed into the cream does a few things. One, it seasons the cream mixture with this like beautiful mellow garlic flavor. And lastly, the garlic softens so much while it simmers in the dairy that it becomes something that you're able to mash into the potato. Cool. All right, I'm gonna put a tart on this cutting board and take back what is rightfully mine. When you find yourself being like, this is stressful, like I can't do this because my space is small or I live in this apartment or whatever, like just remember that no one's asking you to do this multiple times a year. This is one day a year, and if you're like, yeah, if you're looking for the stuffing, it's in the bedroom on my dresser, like totally fine, not weird at all, and just like roll with it. Okay, well, I feel victorious. Saved another sheet pan, so we have 3 sheet pans at play. Honey nut squash. It is a tiny little squash. It is most similar to a butternut squash. If you're a fan of sweet potato casserole, I applaud you. This is my sweet potato casserole. This particular round, I'm doing honey nut squash because A, it's all the rage, B, it's small and cute, and C, you do not have to peel it, which I love. People are weird about squash skin. I am like all in on all the skin. Give me all the squash skin. I'll eat the skin. Technically, you can eat the skin of any squash. It's just how enjoyable is it? A squash stem sucks. This is a dangerous thing to do. People get here and that's when they hurt themselves. So this is the smart way, is to cut off the stem and then to cut it lengthwise. If you want to be a safe person, cut the stem off. If you want to be a cool person, just kidding. So we are going to drizzle these with olive oil, sprinkle with salt and pepper, and then turn them over so they can roast in the oven. The oven is at 325, which is definitely a lot lower than I would normally roast squash at, but during Thanksgiving, you make sacrifices that you wouldn't otherwise make, which is like roasting your squash at a lower temperature because that's the time you have available to roast it. That's probably gonna be there for like an hour and a half. So right now our oven is totally occupied, full occupancy, no vacancy. The turkey's in there, the squash is in there. So all I'm gonna kind of do right now is prep for the things that will go into the oven after those things come out. First up are the mushrooms and the green beans. I wanted a lot of different types of mushrooms just to kind of show you. We have little yellow oysters, chicken of the woods, Fall is a great time for mushrooms. I'm like shocked that more Thanksgiving recipes don't call for mushrooms. All right, and these green beans, this is something you can help me with. You want to take the stems off with me? The humble green bean, all you need to do here is take off the stem part. And if you want to use a knife, you can. I just think it's easier and honestly like a pretty fun task to just snap off the stem part. This tail is fine. Don't worry about taking it off. Honestly, if this were real Thanksgiving, I'd be drinking already.
I might.
Wow, can we just real quick, look at David is like psychopath neat. Also, you're taking off way too much green bean.
Am I?
These are also like pretty adult green beans. These green beans have like
What are
definitely
you guys doing later?
moved into a 1-bedroom apartment. I know.
Oh my god.
I know, she's looking nice. Okay, this is gonna get 2 onions, which is exactly how many I have left. What a mitzvah. So this is pretty much done. All I have to do is toss it on a sheet pan, season it, throw it in the oven. All right, so to get this gratin on the road, we are going to slice thinly these leeks. I would call this a perfect leek. I would call this like a textbook leek. If it were up to me and I could design a leek, it would look like this. Okay, so in this skillet, I'm gonna add a little olive oil. I would call these like thinly sliced, but you don't have to bust out a ruler. We're gonna let these leeks soften and sweat and cook down and become about half their size here. As you can see, we're cooking the white and light green parts and the dark green parts all at the same time. Meanwhile, I'm gonna take the stems off the kale. As I'm ripping it off the stem, I am tearing it into large-ish pieces. If you wanna use a different green in this recipe, you can use beet greens or mustard greens would be really nice. Swiss chard would be awesome. Spinach would be great. You'll just need a lot more of it because spinach wilts down to like nothing. Working with like a handful at a time, I'm gonna go ahead and add these greens and let the gentle heat wilt them. I'm also gonna add a tiny amount of crushed red pepper flakes. Honestly, I would serve this just like this. It doesn't like need the cream or breadcrumbs, but I also didn't like need to make 2 apple tarts or 3 pans of stuffing. Okay, I'm gonna add 1.5 cups of cream to these greens. The greens are off the heat now. We're good. We don't need to cook it any further because the cream is just there to reduce in the oven. We're not doing that stovetop. I'm going with the old king of cheeses, Parmesan. This is my mac and cheese, which is made of kale. It's a zoodle. I'm going to mix some breadcrumbs and olive oil together so we can sprinkle it on top for when it goes into the oven. I'm using breadcrumbs that I made from that bread that I had yesterday. You can use panko. I originally made this with panko and it was wonderful. Salt, pepper, and about 2 tablespoons of olive oil. Yum delish. And I'll just hold on to that here while we free up some oven space. Okay, we have to do a lot of things like right now. So I'm gonna drain the potatoes. They're done. These potatoes have been on there for about an hour. You know, some people say if you pierce it with a knife or something, but I think that like you should just scoop one out and put it on your cutting board and see how it reacts when you put a little fork on it. It should just crush and like fall apart almost. All right, our squash has been in there for what, 1.5 hours? That looks tender, that looks done. Take a fork, easily pierce, absolutely tender. Gorgeous, we love to see it. I'm gonna remove this and just set it aside because I need to deal with this turkey. So she's looking really, really good. I am gonna drizzle it with a little bit more oil. This is gonna go back in. She's not totally done yet. We'll check it in like another, let's call it 40. I bet it'll take another hour though. So we have our potatoes. Here they are. They're still steamy. They're still hot. They're cooked through. Your potatoes should be cooked enough so that doing this breaks them up. I don't own a potato ricer. I don't own a potato masher. I don't plan on purchasing either of those things anytime soon. It is, to me, totally acceptable and even preferred to have texture in my mashed potatoes. So we have our cream mixture. This has just been sitting and simmering lightly. The garlic is in there, it's totally softened. And we're gonna add a stick of butter into here. Leave it out, but you'll miss it. 'Tis a day of wants. Also, if done properly, even the lumpy potato, like even like the chunks of potato that are lumpy should still be like creamy and tender. I want my mashed potato to be chunky and creamy at the same time. I want it all. Yeah, mashed potatoes are there for a lot of reasons. To me, it's almost like a dip. It's not a dip.
A dip for what? The turkey?
A dip for everything, Dan. Yeah. A dip for all things. A dip for your turkey, a dip for a green bean, a dip for a little stuffing, a dip for a squat. Like, dip it all. Everything gets dipped. I am going to kill the heat on those, put them in the back. We're done there. I'm feeling like weirdly together. Well, nothing ever really goes wrong. Like, why? I guess that's the thing, is like, why do we assume something's gonna go wrong on Thanksgiving? Like, why do we assume the worst? We gotta stop putting that energy out there. We gotta stop putting out the energy that we're gonna all panic or freak out or mess up, or there's gonna be like some disaster on Thanksgiving that's gonna prevent us from having a meal. Let's say like you take your turkey out when it's supposed to be done and it's not done. Put it back in the oven. If we're supposed to eat at 7 and we don't eat till 8:30, bring out the snacks. Just remember that it's all gonna be okay, that we're all gonna eat something, and carry on. This turkey has been in the oven for now 3.5 hours. If done well, roasting a chicken or a turkey, it'll tell you when it's done by the color that it is. But if you really want to be sure, I like to temp it. There's like a huge chance that a perfect breast will give you an undercooked leg and thigh. Not inedible, but maybe a little tougher than you want it to be. So I always say, you know what? Down for a breast that's like a little bit drier, because turkey breast meat is always a little bit dry. You're gonna slice it thin for your sandwich the next day anyway. Like, you're gonna smother it with gravy, you're gonna dip it in these mashed potatoes. It's fine. So when you're taking the temperature for the turkey, you wanna go into like the deepest part of the thigh. You should be getting in around like 160. We're at 155, baby. I'm gonna keep it in for like another 10 to 15. I have 11 minutes on the timer from when I said the turkey would be done. Yeah. And I just said 10 minutes. I'm like locked in. That turkey and I are one. Cool. All right, our mushrooms, we're gonna go onto the sheet pan. Part of the beauty of using mushrooms that are all different style, shapes, sizes, varieties is that they have different shapes and textures. Each mushroom has such a different personality, and that's part of the joy of cooking with them, I think. Have you ever had mushroom and green bean casserole? It's pretty good. It's a little gloopy. It's a little needlessly rich. The green beans get a little soggy. It does have crispy French's, onions, huge plus. That said, I feel like I want my creamy moments elsewhere, so I'm distilling the essence of that dish, which is green beans and mushrooms. Definitely one of my favorite sides. I feel like it is distinctly Thanksgiving-y, although it could be good any time of the year. But the beauty of these two vegetables that seem so different, roasting at the same time, at the same temperature on the same sheet pan, is honestly what Thanksgiving's all about. So I know this looks very full, and I know that you're like, you told me never to crowd the pan. These will shrink, it will get done, they will cook down, everything's gonna fit, it's gonna be great. We are gonna drizzle this with quarter cup of olive oil. Quarter cup seems like a lot. Mushrooms really love olive oil. Mushrooms are very porous, and if it feels dry, then it's never gonna get that like golden brown sheen. It's gonna always just kind of feel like dull. And then some soy sauce. This turkey looks great. So I'm gonna let this sit, and as it sits, what's gonna happen is a lot of that juice will start to come out. So you'll notice that like what juice is on the pan now will almost triple by the time we wanna make our gravy. I'm gonna put my oven up to 425, and I'm gonna put these mushrooms and onions and green beans in. Whew. We gotta chill the wine. I was like panicking so much about where I was gonna put the wine. I was like, I gotta fill a fresh direct bag with ice and make a tote and like do all this stuff. And I was like, wait, I have a regular ass size fridge now that has already been cleaned out. And now that the turkey's moved and all the vegetables are gone, I think by the grace of God, I have room to put the wine in the fridge. I was feeling rich, fridge rich. Part of the snack hour, I'm gonna set out a little vermouth spritz bar. It's not a cocktail, but it's like a really fun 2-ingredient spritz. It's soda water and it's vermouth. I don't know much about wine. I don't know if you know that about me. I drink a lot of it. I've been told that I pick wine only with labels that look like they could be drawn by a child. That says more about natural wine culture than it does about me.
How much time do we have left on the mushrooms and the green beans?
So I don't really use a timer. Like, you know when people are blindfolded, their other senses are heightened?
Yeah. Based on what, Bird Box?
Honestly, yeah. If one sense is dulled, the others are heightened. It's just everybody knows that.
Okay, yeah.
How do you think Bird Box became a thing? They didn't just invent the premise. Point being, I put the mushrooms in, I didn't set a timer, I didn't look at the clock, I'm not really sure. Because I've stripped myself of the timer, I think that my senses are strong when they can tell the food's done. Because so far, in about every, like 4 other instances today.
The timer went off.
Wow, right as I open the oven. God, that happens every time. God, I think I have a timer in my brain. I am a timer. I'm right. And I take something out just as the timer goes off. I'm like, I feel like it needs 10 more minutes. David's like, 11 minutes remain. And I'm like, how did you know?
Okay, so heightened senses, what do you think it is right now?
I think, can I look at it? Yeah, I can look at it. Oh, I think I would say those need like 26 to 30 more minutes.
You've been 26 to 30?
Yeah.
Wow!
27! I'm good at this.
Bird Box!
I never saw Bird Box. Sandra Bullock! Sandra, call me. She's a heroine of our time. If this were 1842 or whatever, I would be like in the circus and they'd be like, this woman tells the time of the turkey when it's out of the oven. Like, it's a gift. Step right up, ladies and gentlemen. Like, she'll guess the time, she'll guess the temperature. Any vegetable, any bird. Nailed it. So you have your roasted squash, and then to top it, we're gonna mix some brown butter, toasted walnuts, and some sticky dates. They're adding texture, that's correct. I'm just gonna take the pits out of these dates. I'm just gonna tear them in half. I like big plump pieces of date. If you wanted to chop these, good luck. Chopping a date is a fool's errand. They're sticky as hell, and they stick to your knife, and it's very difficult. See how toasty? And now I'm gonna add the dates to this butter mixture, and I'm just gonna set it aside. But I'm not gonna dress the squash until we're ready to eat. Salad time, baby. We call this the final frontier. These are for salads because David said it couldn't be done, and I said, yes, it can, and we will have not 1, but 2 salads, and they will be distinctly different and valuable to this table. You have one that's leafy and herby and, you know, just kind of straightforward, savory, a little bit of lemon, pepper, salt. And the other salad is a fruit salad. I'm gonna use apples, pears, persimmons, and a mix of blood oranges and cara oranges because, God, I love a fruit salad. There's no real recipe for this. It's more just like any fruits you can get your hands on, slice them, put them on a plate, squeeze them with lemon. And the idea here is to have like different shapes, textures, vibrations. I'm trying to make a monochrome salad here, and I am having great success. It's called, you know, Harvest Glam. At the risk of sounding like your cool aunt, this is truly a time to have fun. The fruit salad is there because I do find value in like a sweet, sort of fruity moment on your table. The squash does that in some ways, but that's more of like a warm, cozy sweet. This is like a sort of bracingly acidic, fresh sweet. Oh, you know what? That's gotta come out. Wow, they're perfect. Who needs a timer when your brain's a timer? Boop, boop. The stuffing is going in. She's coming in hot. She's actually going in room temp. Thank you. This gratin is going in. I've had to pee for about an hour, but I'm almost done, so I'm not gonna go yet. Okay, last salad. Last and final salad. We haven't even gone to the snacks. Right now, I'm so stressed out that nothing's gonna be ready in time, or that I made too much food or not enough food, or like, where is everybody? Why are they late? That like, the snacks are literally like olives in a bowl, figs on a plate, anchovies on a stick. Like, we're good. We don't need like a full cheese ball. People are always making cheese balls at Thanksgiving. Yeah, I'm like, cheese ball, it's all about 2 salads. I don't know. Honestly, I don't even know that I've ever had a cheese ball. I don't know why I think everybody makes them. In my head, everybody makes them. Not this girl.
Is everyone eating cheese balls about?
I don't know, but it is a concern. I am concerned that that's like a thing that's going on behind my back. Okay, we've got chives, we've got tarragon, we've got parsley, we've got escarole, we've got a second salad. I'm exhausted. What's real anymore? Escarole, like I mentioned, is a hardy lettuce. It is bitter. It's, you know, more durable. That's why people like to cook with it as well. At Thanksgiving, I don't want like a weak little lettuce who's gonna just like wilt and everybody's gonna ignore. I feel like you want a salad that's gonna stand up to everything. You wanna say, you want a salad that's gonna be like, I'm not gonna take it anymore. It's gonna stand up to the rest of the meal. Tarragon, unsung hero of the herb world. It is a really awesome flavor to get a bite of in a salad. If you think about what is going on here, it's literally just me talking to myself for 48 hours. Like, I'm grateful for our interludes, but it's very weird to just have a conversation with yourself. No one wants to dress. And our escarole is gonna go in here. And I'm not gonna dress this salad just yet, but I am gonna like have it ready to be dressed. So we're pretty much good. Come in. Happy Thanksgiving! Ah, you look so cute.
Thank you.
You're welcome. You guys can put your stuff in my room if you have stuff to put in there. And then I need one of you. This is not a bit. I genuinely need help. My friend Chris just arrived, and he's gonna help me do the snacks because I don't have. I'm gonna do the turkey and the gravy. I am going to tip this bird to get all of the juices out. But before I do that, I'm gonna take these shallots and I'm gonna put them in this bowl. I'll drizzle them with vinegar, and this will be, you know, as I mentioned, a side dish. And a lot of that juice is what's gonna go into our gravy. And so all this is gonna go into this measuring cup. You don't want any like visibly chunky pieces. Okay, so my gravy is tangy, it's salty, it's acidic, it's well balanced, it's deeply meaty. It utilizes all of the juices that have come out of the turkey, and it's fortified with that beautiful turkey stock that you've made. It is just the right texture, meaning it's not too soupy and it's not too thick and gloopy. Not too soupy and not too gloopy. So I'm gonna start with 4 tablespoons of unsalted butter in this pot. In addition to the 1 cup of pan drippings, I'm gonna add 3 cups-ish of turkey broth. And really what we're doing here is this is like a roux. And what this does is it toasts flour. We're making liquid toast. I don't know, that might not track. But as this darkens, it sort of tells me when it wants the liquid to be added. Which is now. You want to do this slowly. And it's gonna look really thick and sort of unmanageable at first. But it's important that you stay patient, stay the course. And I'm gonna add a little Grey Poupon to the gravy. That's about a teaspoon. I'm gonna bring it to a simmer and we'll taste and see if we wanna add any more. To me, it's not like a far-flung idea to add something like Grey Poupon to your gravy because it's giving you acidity, it's giving you like, sort of like a creamy texture. It's giving Thanksgiving. It doesn't even need any extra acidity or salt. It's like perfect. But when you start with really well-seasoned turkey stock and the drippings are really well-seasoned, you're gonna end up with like a really nicely seasoned gravy from the jump. I've never in my life said from the jump. All right, so for this bird, we're breaking it down just like we would a chicken. I'm gonna remove the leg and thigh away from the bird first, and then I'll carve the breast and the wing away from the carcass. Stay as close to that piece of cartilage as possible to free the breast. Free the breast. Okay, this turkey bone from this wing is giving me the business. Well, that's it. Thanksgiving's ruined. This is gonna go into a pot, and we're gonna make turkey stock from this. This is gonna go in my mouth because I'm gonna eat it. This is a disaster. It's my worst nightmare. I hate a juicy cutting board. Please welcome to the stage my friend Chris. Everybody, Chris. Yeah! Chris and I have spent the last 3 Thanksgivings together. He's one of the people in my life who I trust sort of to just like fly with something if we're like cooking together. Chris, welcome back.
Thank you so much.
We're so happy to have you. We're gonna do anchovies and these peppers on a skewer. There's some figs, and I thought maybe you could just like saute them in a skillet till they're just warm. This just needs to be sliced. The onions just need to be drained and put in a bowl. Some of the olives are for vermouth and some of the olives are for snacking.
I should have brought my notepad.
Yeah, did you get all that?
I know.
Okay, I got it.
And you can kind of work over here next to me.
And then done.
Because there's no other place to work. Okay, I'm gonna put that on a thing. I'm gonna get rid of this. What is this? Okay, I'm ready to carve this bird. Because we were filming this, obviously, I had to carve the turkey at the same time. So I wouldn't otherwise imagine carving the turkey while you were setting the snacks out. You kind of want to carve the turkey when you're closer to eating. That said, you know, it's a little peek behind the curtain, guys. And the leg, you know, if you're an absolute psycho, you might try and slice the meat off, but I think you should just let it be. Also, if you're an absolute psycho, you might try to slice the meat off the thigh. I think in the past I've just shredded it by hand, honestly.
I'm doing these sort of abstractly.
That's perfect, actually. Wow, you really aced the assignment.
I was fishing for compliments there.
No pun intended. I think for me, the moral of the story with turkey is like, if your gravy's great and the turkey is seasoned well, you're all set. We're ready, Dan. I gotta say, we're ready. Great, I'm gonna change into an outfit that doesn't make me feel gross because I've been cooking all day. I smell like turkey, which could be hot depending on who you ask.
Let's find out.
I don't know. Let's start Thanksgiving. My hosting tip is honestly candles. Like, have more candles than you think you need and people will think your house looks great. Hi, Sashi. Hi, Eric. Yeah? Scaping. Scape. We're scaping. My friend Sashi, who is by nature an overachiever, couldn't just set the table. She had to tablescape, which I love for her and for all of us. So she went out into my little patio and clipped some succulent leaves and put them on the little plates, and it looked really sweet. And it kind of like, I don't know, I was like, oh, maybe I should tablescape. The highlight of a party is that everybody had a great time and loved the food. And I'd say like one of the best things is that we had very little leftovers. I got rid of all of the turkey. I got rid of almost all the stuffing. I kept some for myself. This was a very packed house, and I was able to move all of the product. Sashi, cheers.
Cheers, stuff. I'm not a big turkey fan, so the fact that I'm loving this is like very exciting to me. I was joking but serious that generally I eat like the cranberry sauce and like macaroni and cheese.
As a cook yourself, when you go into people's homes, how do you feel about being asked to like do something? Do you feel overwhelmed, or are you like, thank God I have something to do?
I feel so excited to help.
I liked the presentation of the turkey because I feel like it gets sloppy sometimes, and I liked how you had the drumstick displayed, which was like very medieval times, and like your turkey was cut perfectly, so it just came out looking good.
As a person who doesn't traditionally cook, what is your contribution to the holiday?
I like to wait until the absolute last moment and no one is allowed in the kitchen, and I get to put on Janet Jackson and dance by myself and do all the dishes.
What was your favorite thing on the table tonight?
The mushrooms, by far. They were amazing.
Yeah. Could you tell there are about 8 different types of mushrooms in there?
Yes.
My favorite was the gratin.
The dark meat of the turkey was beyond.
The stuffing. There was a crispy top and bottom to the stuffing that I've been picking at for hours.
I think it's really nice that we get one holiday a year in this country that is not focused on consumerism or capitalism, and it's also not religious. It is like a thing that anybody can decide to celebrate and use it as like a full evening to celebrate, like cooking food, the people that you love, and general gratitude. Gratitude practice is really important, and if you're not doing it every day, we should at least do it once a year.
Happy Thanksgiving!
Yay! We're gonna cut this. I'm thankful for you. Are you thankful for me?
Happy Thanksgiving, babies. Gobble, gobble. Turkey.